Welcome to the Polish American Cultural Museum virtual tour. This tour will guide you through 9 distinct rooms, each with its own unique collection of artifacts and stories related to Poland's rich history and culture. While on this tour, you can start and stop at any time within the room you're in, or feel free to close and move on to another room. Thank you for joining us. Sit back and enjoy the tour.
This room is dedicated to Ignacy Paderewski. He was the famous Polish pianist that performed in the United States between the wars. When he traveled from New York to Chicago to Los Angeles, he had a private railroad car on which he had a Steinway piano that he could practice when the train, it would take, 7 days or 5 days or whatever, so he could practice piano as he was riding from a city to a city. He was also a very well-known Polish statesman. He befriended the President Woodrow Wilson, who after World War I, he wrote 14 points of the peace treaty, and the number one, the 13th point was that Poland shall be free after it was partitioned for 123 years. So he was also first Polish prime minister after World War I. The way I got into this collection, and as I say, it's probably the most complete or rich collection of items that are related to Ignacy Paderewski. You can see the things over here. He was on Time magazine twice. You can see some of the recordings over here that you can start with a disc and 78s and 33s and so on. The books that were written by him. He performed in Cleveland 3 times. You can see the Saturday Evening Post and so on. So he was very, very well known individual. When he died in 1941 in New York, he in his will, he said he does not want to be buried in occupied Poland. So President Roosevelt signed a declaration that was put together by the House and the Senate. He signed a declaration to have him buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Now, the only non-American, non-resident that was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. It's quite an honor, obviously. He befriended just about every president. He played for every president that lived in the times that he performed over here. In Cleveland, he performed 3 times. In Akron, he performed. So he was very. He spent a lot of time on concert halls. What he did is, in World War I, he donated all his money to the Polish army being formed in France to fight for Polish independence. So he was a very, very generous person and very well liked. And in 1992, his body was exhumed from the Arlington National Cemetery, and they found the urn with his heart separated from his body. And in his will, what he wanted to do is his body to be buried in Poland eventually, on free Poland, and his heart to stay in the United States. That's how much he loved the United States. Singing Society of Buffalo donated this statue to the Polish Society Harmonia Chopin here in Cleveland of Ignacy Paderewski. On the 10th anniversary of the Polish independence, there was a reception in Waldorf Astoria Hotel that was put together by Paderewski, and they had the president. This one was signed by Roosevelt President Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt. I mean, they're all these secretaries for different departments. They were at the Waldorf Astoria. They all signed this. This is a copy of, obviously, not the original book, but we had the copy. The way I got a hold of this thing, this fellow, his name is Berschler, German. Okay, it wasn't even Polish, but anyway, he says my brother died, and he was fascinated with Paderewski's music. So he had nothing to do with politics. You know, he was fascinated, and whenever he found a person that has some item of Paderewski, he would write him a letter and says, I would like to buy it. I'd like to buy it. That's how he collected all this. When he died, his brother called me and he says, look, you know, I have this collection in here. If you're interested, I would be more than happy to donate it to you. I can sell it on internet. He said, but I wouldn't feel good. You know, I went over to see him, and then of course when I saw this thing, I was like, oh, wow, you know. So that's how, you know, when you really, that's why we're so thankful to the donors. I mean, you know, something like this, I mean, it's worth money, a lot of money probably, you know, just depending on where you sell it, you know. And it's the most thorough collection that I ever saw about this person in Paderewski. So anyway, we are very, very fortunate that we have this. We're very, very fortunate that we have this museum, and we hope that everything will turn out okay, and we will attract a lot of people. So thank you very much.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the room, and there's a lot more to see. Feel free to continue the tour now or come back later at any time. There's another room right around the corner. We look forward to seeing you.